Hi, welcome to Mancave Projects. So this week, as part of a job that we're doing, we're going to be returning a painted stair banister back to its original wood finish. Okay, so as I said, this video is all about trying to turn this staircase back to a decent wood finish. It is not as easy as it sounds, and potentially might not actually work. It all depends on the quality of the wood that's under this paint and also the paint preparation that was initially done to the bare wood. So the initial thing that we're going to do with this staircase in order to strip off the old paint that's on there is a chemical preparation, so a paint stripper. The downside is that due to European legislation, most paint strippers now are almost useless. It takes a lot of effort to actually get the paint off. However, one of the tricks I'm going to show you today to make modern paint strippers effective is to use cling film or food wrap. One of the issues with the modern day paint strippers is that because of this EU legislation, a lot of the chemicals that used to be used in paint stripping products are banned. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that the paint stripping material stays moist or wet for a long period of time. Now if I just apply paint stripper to this surface and leave it, it will dry within 10 to 15 minutes. Once it dries, it becomes ineffective. So the reason for using the cling film or food wrap is once we've applied the paint stripper to the old paint, we then cover that with the cling film or food wrap, and that keeps that chemical moist for a long period of time, allowing it to be more effective and work. So I'll show you how to do that now. Of course, with anything like this, even though these are relatively ineffective now, you still need protection, so gloves and eye protection as a bare minimum. Also, if you've got any surfaces that could be damaged by paint stripper, like wooden floors or carpet, make sure you cover those first. Okay, so we've got the surfaces that we don't want the paint stripper to go on protected. So we've prepped the area, got some of our paint stripper in a small tub with a nylon bristled brush. It's important. We just want to apply this paint stripper quite thickly. Working it into all of the areas we want the paint to be stripped from. Okay, so once we've applied the paint stripper to the surfaces we want the paint to come from, then take our cling film or food wrap and we just wrap that around the surface. Make sure that it covers all of the wood. If you go in underneath, cover that as well. Obviously you can tear this quite easily. We'll just carry on doing that patch up with the cling film or food wrap, the whole of the staircase. And then I'm going to leave this now for a minimum of 4 hours. We'll come back to it, there's plenty of other jobs for us to be carrying on with in the house. We'll come back to it in 4 hours and I'll show you exactly what we've got. Okay, so just show you what we've got here. So after 4 hours, start to take the cling film off and scrape away at the paint. Paint is quite soft, but it is patchy in places. Just a tip on taking the paint off, because we're going back to a wood finish, don't want to do this in case the scraper digs into the wood. So the best way to do it is just to scrape with the actual blade at 90 degrees and with the grain as well. As I said, it is patchy. If you do find patches that haven't come off initially, then you can obviously reapply the paint stripper, but you don't need to
place the cling film over the top after that. The cling film is really there just to get the majority of the first few layers. I reckon there's about 8 or 9 layers of paint on here. So it's done really well. Without the cling film, as I said before, there is no way we would get as much paint off as we have done. Obviously this method, if you've got old paint stripper in the shed, don't use the cling film because it's probably caustic based and it'll just melt the cling film onto the actual wood itself. So this method is only for non-caustic paint strippers, which is the vast majority, if not all of the paint strippers which are sold now in the shops. Okay, so that's the end of the first video. I'll just carry on obviously doing this until the whole of the staircase is stripped down to this kind of finish. The next video I'll be showing how to hand sand and also multi-tool or Dremel sand with the fine detail to get this to a really nice finish.